Hey y'all, it is Tasha. I am back with another video. Thank you so much for stopping into my channel. I know I shouldn't have to say it, but there's some of y'all that still ain't following the simple instructions. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm just kidding. I am just kidding, but I'm kind of not. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends and family. I'm sure you're not the only one watching this TV show, and I know you want to keep me all to yourself, but it's all right to share me. Just share. Sharing is caring, okay? Anyway, let's jump into the episode of Married at First Sight this week. We are again season 13, episode 3. I feel like this is like episode 5, but it's only episode 3. They just, because they're long as hell, they just feel so much longer. All right, I'm going to try to keep my energy up with this review and keep things fun and lighthearted, because while it was, of course, an uber long episode, I don't feel like a whole lot happened. But because we're talking about 5 couples, and when it started shifting back and forth between all the different couples doing the same thing at their reception, it's a whole lot. Like Married at First Sight, we may gotta just go back to the 4 couples and do a better job with, you know, editing and keeping things a little more seamless, so we feel like the show flows a little bit better, you know? Or maybe it was just me that felt that way. I don't know, but it was a lot. Anyway, this episode picks up where the other one left off, where we are getting ready to see Brett and Ryan get married. Ryan, we see him at the end of the aisle. Homeboy is nervous. He is sweating. He is up there taking deep breaths. He keeps shifting from side to side. He can't keep still. I'm just like, need you to come a Jesus moment. Relax. Brett is cool people, so you gonna be fine. But right now, I need you to bring it on down. Bring it on down, sir. Oh my goodness. But you know, they kind of talk about his experience and why he's doing this while he's standing there. And then he basically says that he was jealous of, you know, everybody around him seemed to be getting married and having kids. So he was ready to do it by kind of any means necessary. And I'm like, oh, I hope you are doing this for the right reasons and not because you're ready to check this box off of your kind of your life's to-do list of get married, check. Doesn't matter to who, doesn't matter how I get there. I just want to be married because everybody else around me is being married as well. Check. So don't let us down, Ryan. Don't let us down, okay? So what their friends and family have to say about each other seems to be really cute, despite their officiant, for whatever reason, sounds like he is a robot, and I am not here for it. It was so boring. I was like, where did this man come from? But anyway, he definitely had a robot voice. But as Ryan is reading his vows, y'all, call me petty, I cannot stop looking at his facial hair. His facial hair just looked real rugged. Like he didn't have time to brush it down, tame it a little bit, shape it up. I was just, dude, it's your wedding day, and it's the first time you seeing her. The rugged look is cute, but not for your wedding day. So I couldn't focus. But I'm like, girl, you being petty. Stop it. Stop it. But their vows are sweet. Their family and friends really cannot stop smiling. Everybody is dabbing their eyes because they're crying. It's a super sweet moment. And when the officiant says that, well, I think before he even said it, they kiss. And then he was like, okay, now you can kiss your bride. And then they kiss, and it's a really cute, passionate kiss. And he breaks her 2-year no kiss streak, and it's with her husband. So I kind of like them together so far, but it's too early to call, so I'm just going to leave it there. Ryan says that his first impressions can't be better. He says that he thinks she is beautiful and she has the most beautiful eyes. And then we see them kind of, you know, whisk away by themselves, pop their champagne, and then start talking about kind of their careers and where they are. Next up, we gear up for the last wedding, thank you, Jesus, which is the forgettable couple of Jose and Rachel. Rachel says that her last relationship was 6 months ago. If we remember, that was the person that, you know, cheated and she found out, so whatever. So she says in that time, she has reinvented herself. And I was like, girl, you did a whole reinvention in just 6 months. Okay, you reinvented yourself in 6 months. Now you're ready to be a wife. Okay. Got it, girl. Again, hopefully she's doing this for the right reasons as well. And it's not just that she felt that her last relationship was going to lead into marriage. It didn't. So now she just wants to put somebody else in that place. Doesn't matter who, doesn't matter what's going on. I just want to get married and check that box off as well. So This is just my assumptions. I could be totally wrong, and honestly, I hope I am totally wrong. But Jose is really nervous in regards to his future wife not finding him sexually attractive. I'm just going to leave it there for now because he mentions it again, and then I'll, you know, give my thoughts and all that. But it seems like they both have a little bit of insecurities. So, because while she has lost a lot of weight, she has also mentioned that. I hope, you know, he finds me pretty and attractive and things like that. So I'm hoping that each of them separately can help build up the other one. And that's probably going to be a whole lot of words of affirmation coming from each of them to the other person. Jose says that he feels he has something to prove because he's seen divorce in his family and he wants his marriage to just be perfect. And I'm like, sir, that's problem number one. It's not going to be perfect. And I feel like when it ends up not being perfect, he's going to have a hard time dealing with that because I'm sure he has an idea of how he think marriage should go and what he think a wife should look like, do, behave, all this other stuff. And when Rachel doesn't conform to that, I'm afraid of what that's going to look like for the two of them. So Jose looks pleased as Rachel gets to the end of the aisle. He does say that, you know, he's attracted to her. And once I see them both at the end of the aisle, I was like, oh, Jose looks to be a little bit short. He looks to be a little bit shorter than her, depending on what size heels she has on and under her dress. But he looks to be shorter than her. And then the light bulb goes off of, does he have little man complex? Is he having short man syndrome? Is that what's going on with him? Why he's so nervous that she won't find him attractive because he knows he's short? Like, I don't know. But anyway, they go to start saying their vow and Jose gets a little joking of, you know, he says he'll be there for her financially, spiritually, emotionally, and sexually as well. And his family and everybody laugh. And I'm like, okay. And then they announce that they're husband and wife. They kiss, pop champagne, get to know each other. Y'all know the drill at this point. So Rachel, once they get alone, she has a little game that they play where they say something about themselves to see if that other person has that in common. And I was like, this is really cute to kind of get to know each other right off the bat, just so that we can maybe see why we got matched. So they find out that they were both born and raised in Houston. They both speak Spanish. They both love sports. They both love to work out. So it seems to be a match made in heaven, right? We'll see. They both say they're described, you know, they are the person that they described that they wanted. So hopefully this works out. So we go back to Brent and Ryan. They're taking pictures and Ryan does share that physically Brent is not what he described or what he's used to or what's been in his vision, but it works. And I'm like, it works. What you mean it works? Okay, Ryan. Anyway, they get their pictures done and Brent is like really ready to party. She's like, all right, so we done. We can go dance. We can have a good time. She seemed like my kind of girl. I like Brent. Then we see Marilla and Gil taking pictures. Gil is giving a lowdown to his family and he says he likes her and she's a 10. No, she says that he's a 10. So I'm super surprised of like, okay, girl, that's where we going. Cause you was real stuck on that bald head earlier. But we flip back to Jose and Rachel. They're meeting with their parents and taking pictures. So as they start taking pictures, Jose has this really stern look on his face. And the photographer is like, relax. Like, I need you to just shake it out. Like he's like, smile. And Jose is like, I'm like, smile, show your teeth, bend the corners of your lips, you know, smile. But here again, we hear him say he's nervous about his wife being physically attracted to him. And before I could even think about it, oh God, just blew out of my mouth. Because I'm like, dude, if I have to hear about this one more time, about her being sexually attracted to you, I just might lose it, okay? I'm tired of hearing it already. If she is, she is. If she ain't, she ain't. There's nothing we're going to be able to do about it if she ends up not being. But you continuing to say it over and over shows us how insecure you are. Because he even at one point calls out, I know I'm not that tall. I know I have a big forehead. I know I have, like, dude, stop. Oh my God, Jose, stop. Get over yourself. I'm tired of it. They show all the couples walking into their receptions. And honestly, at this point, I am having some FOMO of Michaela and Zach. And I'm like, can we just go back to Michaela and Zach? Because I'm tired of seeing everybody else. Marilla and Gil, we see them dance, and they talk about their first impressions of each other. She says that her first impression was that he's handsome, and I was like, so you just not gonna say how you didn't ask for somebody with a bald head and they gave you somebody with a bald head? You just gonna play that game, Marilla? Okay. He says that the first thing he noticed in her was her lips, because they were just, you know, plump and juicy and just, he was just ready to bite all over them. And then he said as she got closer, he kind of looked at her style because he loved her dress. And he was like, okay, I see you. Jose and Rachel are also doing their first dance. They look awkward. Brent and Ryan are doing their first dance, and he's trying to teach her like some two-step things. Seems like the country music. Brent ain't a country music girl, so she's like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But it seems like this gets Brent out of his shell a little bit, and he kind of takes the lead and shows her what to do. Michaela and Zach are chatting it up and eating, and y'all, every time they pan the camera back to Michaela's sisters, I about lost it. They were just sitting there like, looking like, what they talking about? What's going on? Do y'all see this? What is happening? It was so cute. But they're talking, and Zach is asking her about the longest relationship that she had, and she said it was 364 days. He broke up with me the day before our 1-year anniversary back in 2017. I was like, ouch, my goodness. And then Zach starts to share a little bit that he was not as confident as he was now. He built a lot of his confidence in his college years, because in high school, he got picked on a lot. He was darker than a lot of the kids, so they picked on him about that. And Michaela was like, honey, you are beautiful. All this here is beautiful, honey. I'm here for it all. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. Yes, we are. Help you hype your man up, honey. And then they cut back to the sisters again. And again, the sisters are killing. Like, I wish I was sitting there with them in this moment. They like, do you see this? They like magnets. This is crazy, girl. Are you looking at? Do you see what I see? Like, they are having a full-on meeting right there at the reception, talking about their sister and her new husband right there. And I loved every bit of it, okay? So back to Marilla and Gil. They're eating and discussing their names, specifically their last names and what they are. And he shares what his is, and out the gate, he asked Marilla, so what was your maiden name? And I was like, okay, we already assuming she's going to take your last name, honey. Okay. And then, of course, when they cut to Marilla confessional, it sounds like she hasn't really made any decisions about taking her spouse's name. She wants to keep her dad's name alive because he's passed away. And she was like, we'll talk about it, basically. So they're going to have to come to some type of compromise of, you know, her hyphenating maybe, if that's going to be what it is. But Gil seems to be really traditional that he wants his wife to take his last name. But it's another hurdle they'll have to jump. Anyway, their guests start tapping their glasses, and we all know what that means. They want the couple to kiss. And of course, Marilla is like, no, no, no. Here you go. You're still a stranger. I don't know you. Kiss my cheek. Rachel and Jose is eating. Their guests start tapping glasses as well. This happens every season with every episode. And they kiss. He does ask her, ironically, I feel like, because it just came out of nowhere. Like, they were eating, and then he asks her where she lives and where she works, and she tells him. And then he asks when her lease is up, and she tells him. And then he just sits there, and he's like, okay, just wanted to know. And I'm like, but wanted to know for what? Y'all have been married for 5 minutes. Okay. Jose then talks about how, you know, when he was out dating and he was on the app sometimes, and he was just like, you know, I'm on a different level. Like, I have a mental checklist of things that I want. And, you know, when things are kind of going a certain way and things aren't on the list, I'm just like, no, this ain't going to work out, because, you know, I want what I want and I get what I want, is what he said. And I was like, now, Jose, you starting to skate on thin ice, buddy. You starting to get on my nerves. You starting to get on my nerves. But this makes Rachel nervous. And she says that it seems to be what he wants in a wife is a lot. And she is not sure she can be the perfect wife. And it's amazing that she's seeing this right off the bat, even though she has not heard the other things that he said. Because I think the exact same thing, that he has this picture perfect cutout of what he think a wife is, not realizing, first, you don't know her. She's a stranger. She may not fit into this cutout that you have. And if she doesn't, you have to be flexible, that either you like her for who she is, or you do just want a woman that you can mold into whoever you want, and that might not be Rachel, but I'm worried about them. So back to Britt and Ryan. They're eating. It's a bit awkward. They talk about if they're a glass half full, glass half empty type of person. She basically says she's more of a realist, not that she's necessarily negative, but really looking at things for what they are. And he says he has a more positive outlook. So I'm hoping with them being kind of opposites, they balance each other out in that area. So Bao and Johnny, at their reception, they're talking about their love languages, and Bao is basically words of affirmation and Johnny is physical touch. And Bao was like, that is rock bottom of my list. Like, touching and all that, I am not down. I am not here for. And even later on in the episode, when we see Johnny talking to her brother and her friends, they're like, we don't even hug her. So I'm like, oh my gosh, y'all don't even do hugs. And Johnny seems to be very touchy. So I'm hoping they can figure that out between them two. But they seem to have really easy, really good conversation just right off the bat. I'm sure it helps that they kind of knew of each other a little bit, but it just seems effortless with the two of them. But they're cute. They're talking about hobbies. She's talking about her consignment Jimmy Choo shoes, and Johnny has no idea what consignment means. They're really cute together. So each of the couples then go cut their cakes, feed each other. We see no cake smashing of anybody from any of the couples. Johnny, of course, that's like I said, he gets a chance to speak with her brothers and stuff. Johnny is definitely really confident. Like, he didn't sit to be standing there amongst 4 other men that really know his wife much better than he does. He wasn't intimidated. He was cool, calm, and collective. I was like, okay, Johnny, okay. And then as Bao was talking to her friends, she basically says no. She kind of had a little bit of a crush on Johnny back in the day. So it's funny how the universe brought them back full circle to now be back here marrying each other as strangers, when she kind of already had a little thing for him. I said, okay, this might be cute. And then once we get back to Ryan and Brett, Ryan talks with Brett's bridesmaids, and they kind of go on and on unnecessarily about the red hair, which is not even her natural hair color. Go figure, we can tell because it's so bright. But she asks his groomsmen if she is his type, and they kind of unanimously are like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? But they try to, ease it and cover it up a little bit. But it's, it's just based on what he's typically picked, and what he's typically picked has not worked. So, maybe this is a good thing. But she does say that she thinks that Ryan has really good characteristics, but she isn't sure of, fitting in with his cowboy per se lifestyle. Because she's like, now am I a cowboy wife? I don't know. Because cowboy and country music and farming and things outdoors and all that, it's not my jam. And I feel you on that, because it ain't my jam either. Michaela then speaks with Zach's parents, and his dad comes out the gate, and he's like, I'm be honest, I thought this was some bullshit. And I was like, well, just be honest then, Daddy. Go ahead and just lay it out. But he says, I look at you guys and it just seems right. So now Dad seems to be all the way bought into the Married at First Sight. Mama goes on and on about her baby boy, as mom's supposed to do. So it is what it is. Zach then chats with Michaela's sisters and her brother-in-law. And the sisters and stuff ain't here to play no games, which I would expect nothing less. But they got questions, and they ain't afraid to shoot them at him. And I was like, that's right, sisters. Protect your sister. Okay? Get it together. Gil then talks to Marilla's sister and brother, and they ask if there's anything he is concerned about. And he does mention the designer stuff, because we know he is not big on that, and Marilla is. Her brother says that she is fashionable and she works real hard, and she splurges for what she wants. And Gil is wondering if this will be a deal breaker. And honestly, so am I, because she seems to be so stuck on this is how she is that it makes me a bit nervous. Because we then see her on the other side chatting with some of Gil's friends, and they talk about her lifestyle as well. And his friend basically says, Gil is cheap. And Marla is like, but wait. I'm not changing. I do what I do. I can afford what I do, and this is how I am. So he got to get in what he fit in. I don't understand. And she's like, I enjoy this lifestyle I've created for myself. And his friend asks if she's high maintenance because she mentions, you know, going on international trips, being able to buy her designer bags and things like that. And she says she doesn't think it's high maintenance. I'm a little bit conflicted on it. I do think it's high maintenance in the sense of majority of the world does not live that way as far as always being in designer, being able to afford designer and things like that. I mean, that's just point blank. You don't see designer stores on every corner like you do a Target or Walmart. It's just not what it is. But on the other hand, if you can afford that type of lifestyle, girl, do your thing. That is all on you. I'm in nobody's pockets but my own. So if she can afford the lifestyle she wants to live, and to her that's normal and that is not high maintenance, I can't tell her that it is high maintenance. But I'm just hoping that she's able to have a shift if she is, because that's a huge thing because of the finances. Gil does not make a ton of money. So if she's okay with, more than likely she'll be the breadwinner. So if she is okay with still doing all of that for herself and not necessarily her husband pitching in and now treating her to the trips and designer bags and things, I think they will be fine. Or if she's more open to, instead of one international trip, you not purchasing two because you got to buy Gil's as well. If you cool with that, y'all will be fine. But if you're not cool with that, y'all might have some issues. Okay. We then see all the ladies toss their bouquets. We see Johnny gets down on his knees and he's ready to bite that garter off of Bao. And we actually see Jose doing the exact same thing. Zach gives Michaela a little lap dance and they just having the time of their life, honey. Johnny groomsman asks if he's getting lucky tonight. And I'm like, excuse me? First off, that ain't your business. Second of all, he can't make that decision by himself. Bao will decide what is going down tonight, okay? Brett talks to her bridesmaids and they give her the tea basically on what they discussed with him and how she feels about him. She likes him and she says she wants to do romantic things with her husband, but she's a little nervous about being vulnerable, and her friends kind of did share that, you know, he kind of said that she wasn't really his type, and she's, you know, got the same thing from his friends, but it doesn't seem to be causing an issue with her. Marilla talks to Gil's friends and they ask, you know, why she didn't kiss, and she said, oh, just a little bit conservative in that way, and he's still a stranger. Oh my God, I can't kiss him. And I'm like, Marilla, girl, to say you conservative, I don't know, because your dress is pretty revealing, so you're not conservative. You've already told us kind of your outfits of choice can be probably a little bit revealing as well, so you're not conservative there. So I guess you can show it all, but when it comes to actually doing things, you become conservative. Is that what we're saying? Am I understanding correctly? I don't know. But okay. But she says there's no timeline for when she will get comfortable with him when the friends ask. So basically, you know, she doesn't know. Could be 10 days, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a year. We don't know. It just depends. So Milla's friends ask Gil, you know, where he's at on intimacy. And he says, you know, he's really open to them building something and getting to know each other first. And really, essentially, he says whenever she's comfortable, then he's totally fine with that. So her girlfriend was like, so if that means 6 months, he's like, if it means 6 months for a lifetime together, then I am totally fine with that. So I'm like, good answer, Gil. But I hope it was the truth and you honestly feel that way. We see Rachel talking to Jose's stepmother and father, and stepmama was getting a little bit too much in the business. She's like, on the wedding night, you know, there's certain expectations. And before she could continue to put her foot in her mouth, the daddy is like, just go with the heart. Just whatever your heart feels, go with the heart. That's the right answer. And I'm like, good answer, like Family Feud. Anyways, the couples get a send-off from their family and friends and prepare to spend their first nights together. And it's so cool because we see Marilla and Gil get sent off in their fire truck because he's a fireman. Johnny and Bao, they have the dancing dragons. I think that's what they're called in that culture, but it was so cute. And then Rachel and Jose got a little mariachi band. I was like, oh, seeing all these different cultures and things going on. I love it, Married at First Sight. I do love it. All the guys pick up their new brides and walk them across the threshold of their hotel room. We see that Johnny and Bao are getting all cuddly with each other on the bed. Gil and Marilla stretched out like they is tired, honey. And Zach is comfortably nestled in Michaela's boobs. And he says, I like it here. He likes it there. He is the first person to note a jar of condoms. And he's like, You down, I'm down, basically. All the grooms help their ladies out of their dresses. Johnny is struggling with all the buttons on Bow's dress. Once we get back to Marilla and Gil, as she comes out the bathroom, homegirl is in a full-out flannel pajama set. Like, she is making it clear. You ain't getting these goodies. Ain't no hanky-panky. Ain't nothing going on. I ain't even dressed cute to go to bed. We ain't doing it tonight, okay? All right, and I was like, girl, geez. And then Michaela comes out, and Zach is laying down in the bed, and as soon as she comes out the bathroom, even though she's not really dressed sexy for bed either, but he's like, wait, let me get up and see what's going on. He was like, I couldn't see all this in that dress, and girl, like, he was hyping her up, and I loved every second of it, okay? I just love the two of them together. But he is basically saying, I am very sexually attracted to my wife. I cannot wait to hold her, kiss her, and if they don't go all the way tonight, it's going to be pretty doggone close for the two of them, okay? Rachel is really the only bride we see that gets a little bit sexy in her bedroom attire for her husband. And then, again, back to Johnny and Bao. She's still struggling. She finally gets out of the dress, and then she's struggling to get the pins out of her hair. And Johnny's being so sweet and patient and even comes in the bathroom to help her take it out. So I just really like them too. It is just so cute. Even though she makes him take the pillow and kind of put it in between them because he likes physical touch so much. So she's like, baby steps, put this here for now. If you feel the need to touch the pillow. Don't touch me. That's kind of what I feel like. But overall, everybody seems to be really attracted to one another. So this season doesn't seem like there should be an issue as far as intimacy goes. Maybe how far they want to go when, i.e. Marilla and Gil. We don't know, but at least everybody seems to be all the way there as far as being physically attracted to one another, which is cute. And honestly, when they started showing all the grooms getting undressed, I was like, the grooms' bodies ain't looking too bad either. So we were just winning all the way around, okay? But anyway, they show us previews of what's to come the rest of the season. And I was rather alarmed when Michaela was spazzing out on a couple of scenes. And I'm like, oh, is this Hurricane K coming out already? Like, I got so nervous. I'm like, what is going to happen to cause her to like spaz out? Like that one scene of her like forcing and closing the door and somebody having to hold her back, and we see Zach in a car and the other couples are out there and she's like talking about him leaving and he leaves off and the other men are like, what are we supposed to do? Lay in front of the car? I don't know. So I am just like, what is going to happen the rest of the season? Because y'all look so in love right now. How does that go downhill in a matter of 2 months? Oh my gosh. I hope it's just a bump in the road and they are able to recover, because I absolutely adore them together. But y'all, this season looks good. Like, it looks like we'll have enough drama to keep it interesting, but not full out like we had to deal with last season, which I am all here for, okay? Let me know your thoughts on the episode below. Let's chat it up. I love talking to you guys in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the video next week. Peace.